So, in the film, the physical embodiment of Odysseus' guilt is the face of a young woman executed during the fall of Troy. Inside his mind, the goddess Athena appears to him in precisely this form, serving as his constant companion throughout the journey. Athena therefore becomes something akin to a therapist, a symbolic spirit confronting Odysseus with the crimes of his past. She is, in effect, the manifestation of his guilt. Yet, of course, this bears little resemblance to the role the gods play in the ancient epic. But again, that is simply Nolan's interpretation. I already talked a lot about my overall beloved goddess and her role in the Odyssey, but this, again, referencing my magnum opus. Now, here is where I'm a little bit conflicted. On the one hand, why cast one of the most recognizable stars in Hollywood, Zendaya, in the role of a young woman, well, a goddess, who is supposed to embody an intensely personal wartime trauma? Her face, Zendaya, has become almost omnipresent in modern blockbuster cinema. Yet, I do understand the critic about Zendaya playing my overall beloved goddess Athena. And yes, I still would prefer it when the wonderful deities are implied off screen rather than butchered on screen. But, for example, in the Odyssey 1997, it is possible to make it great. Yet, and that is where my confliction comes in. To be completely honest, when I saw Zendaya portraying my overall beloved goddess, I did not once really think about Zendaya, but about Athena. But, and that is where I'm a bit conflicted. This has less to do with her performance and more to do with how much Athena means to me, no matter who portrays her. And to be fair, I did not even pay that close attention to the story for the roughly 5 minutes she appears on screen. I was thinking about Athena the whole time. So, every time I'm talking about this aspect, I'm very biased, yet positively, because I'm always in awe when I see Athena. But again, that does not mean that from a point of view of a movie that is a good idea. It can be, again, Odyssey 1997, but here, on a objective level, Zendaya portrays less the most wonderful goddess is, and rather becomes a imaginative therapist-like entity, a companion solely based in the mind. And while the idea of having a wonderful deity in your mind as a companion you can talk to is beyond magnificent, having that aspect always treat, implying a non-existence of the wonderful deities otherwise. That is the issue I have. So, as I've said, I'm a little bit contradicted here. On the one hand, why casting someone who is so recognizable that any immersion fails? On the other hand, I'm just too biased when it comes to my overall beloved goddess Athena, which means I'm, again, always in awe. Yet, another thing, since Zendaya is instantly recognizable, how should we as the viewer truly see the horrors of war? Again, on an objective level, for those few moments she appears on screen, we simply see her, Zendaya, and not the horrors of war. Now, one final point. In Homer's poem, Athena disguises herself as Mentor, an old family friend. The gods have decided that Odysseus should finally return home to Ithaca, and Athena goes there in disguise to encourage Telemachus. So spoke bright-eyed Athena, daughter of Zeus. Nolan's mentor, however, is simply a man. Other characters repeatedly tell us that he has the wise eyes of Athena, but the audience never actually sees any evidence of that. And again, I prefer it when the wonderful deities are implied off screen rather than butchered on screen. But that is just not enough implication. And then, after Mentor dies, another character casually remarks something along the lines of, well, maybe he really was Athena in disguise. I mean, the intention is obvious. Nolan wants to preserve the names and familiar mythological references as a form of fan service. But the issue is, the screenplay simply has no convincing way of integrating them naturally. The result is a lifeless character whose purpose remains unclear. No one in the audience really understands why he is there, or why everyone keeps comparing him to Athena.